What's up, everybody? Good to be back once again. I had a very eventful weekend. Of course, we made it all the way to Hartford, Connecticut in the wintertime. Quite the experience. Pretty cold, but definitely worth it. Had a good time. Ultimately, glad that Vero talked me into it, kind of coaxed me into it, but had a good time. Shout out to Vera for driving. We had to like do a whole lot of workarounds and stuff to make it like reasonable basically, but yeah, definitely had a good time. We Yeah, so I guess let me break down first what we're going to be going over today. I just wanted to do a recap and then talk a little bit. I don't want to dwindle on it too much, but we're going to recap on my experience at the calling. And I wanted to hit right after that, just go over the tweet that I sent out. I think, what is it, 2 days ago or something like that, and just kind of show how good the Fab community is, and kind of show my appreciation for that. So we're gonna go over those two things, and then we're gonna jump straight into we're gonna analyze Yuki's KO list. We're going to kind of like not necessarily do a side by side, but like just look at the cards and try to like look into maybe why she made certain decisions on playing certain cards or not. And then after that, we're going to hop straight into gameplay with that identical list. We're not going to change anything. We're just going to talk about certain card choices and why maybe they were made, and kind of analyze it and go over those things. What's up, Pierre? We got TCG Talk in the building. Thanks for joining me. And then, of course, Damien, thank you guys for joining me. Really do appreciate it. So let's kick off for Hartford. I was feeling pretty okay walking into day one for the calling. I had never attended a full blown limited calling ever. The two that I've missed in the U.S. were Dallas and Cincinnati before U.S. Nationals, the very first one, which was my first big event. And then I've made every one after that, with the exception of Vegas, the Team Blitz calling. Those are the only three events that I've missed in the U.S. At a calling level or higher since around the Monarch area. I don't know if there were any small callings for like ARC and WTR. Not entirely sure, but I make just about most of them. And yeah, so we show up. I kind of know what to expect, but like, still kind of like excited about it. I went to a bunch of pre-releases, practiced a little bit online on Draftomancer, whatever that website is, and got some reps in. Also talked with a lot of people like Vero, Jason, just kind of like picking their brains on what they're doing and stuff like that. And they were more than willing to kind of, talk to me about some things and kind of share their insight. So I definitely appreciate that. And yeah, so we sit down, we open our packs, and we basically open, I would say, I would say like a 6 to a 7 out of 10. Not bad. A hair above average. The good thing about the pool was we just had like no Guardian cards, right? I looked at the pool immediately, and literally, if I would have played Guardian, I would have only had 20 playable cards. It was like that non-existent. Now, law of averages, right? Those cards have to go somewhere. So they went to Warrior and Brute. The bad part of the pool was they were split directly evenly between Warrior and Brute. So I had like a fairly average, kind of Warrior and Brute deck. And I sat there for quite a minute trying to decide what I was going to play for the sealed portion of the calling. And ultimately, I looked at, because I had a couple wild rides, some bear fangs, lead with speed, like some solid brute cards that had some good synergy. The problem is I did not have raw meat or a really good helmet option. I don't think I actually, the only helmet I had was the Kasai helmet, the red hood or whatever it was called. And ultimately, the decision was so close that I strictly went with Warrior and Kasai due to having slightly more equipment. Um, what's up? What's up, Justin? Thanks for joining. So yeah, I went with Kasai for the sealed portion of the calling, and ultimately in day one we had some hard fought battles. We played Pierre in the chat. We played. He was on KO if I'm not mistaken. Had a really close game with him, and he he fortunately for me drew. I think it was an all red hand or almost an all red hand on a turn where he could have pivoted. We talked about it after the game. We're not sure if it would have like changed the outcome, but it definitely would have put him in a much better position to make a pivot. And ultimately, the game fell my way, but always a good time. And he went on to do better things. He went on to top 8 the Battle Hardened. So congratulations, boss. You earned it. Always a pleasure to play. The first time we played was in Battle Hardened Charlotte, I believe, and one of my favorite games ever. Came down literally just ripping a certain card off a sink. I think it was a Blizzard, and one it was Icelander versus Briar. One of my favorite games I've played. And then directly after that, I think I played Michael Hamilton. Just to break down the deck a little bit, the one downside about the Kasai deck was I only had 9 blues, and that is literally playing every single blue that I had access to. Literally, if it had the blue pitch stripe at the top, it was in the deck if it was playable. So I was playing like blue trade in and stuff like, just whatever I could to have a blue pitch in the deck. Now, the good part about that is that means I got a lot of reds, a lot of powerful cards, doing a lot of offensive damage, whatever the case may be. So fairly, there is a flip side to that. The problem is if I don't draw a blue, I'm not going to be very productive on my pivot turns, right? And that could be especially punishing with cards like Flat Tracker, where you're basically investing in an agility token next turn. And if your ratios are off, then you're not going to be able to actually realize the investment that you've made by popping your armor offensively and creating that agility token, because you don't know if you're going to have the resource to actually carry that out. So against Michael, I had 9 blues in my deck, and he wins the die roll and chooses to go second. I draw my hand, and it is 4 blue cards. And so I'm like, I don't want to let you filter, but I have to because I can't like do anything offensively if I keep this. So I do like a blue lead with speed into claw or something like that. Just nothing too crazy. And he plays a take it on the chin, immediately makes an agility token. And so we're off to a rough spot, but it was just something that I had to do if I wanted to have any type of offensive turn. And then we draw our hand up and we draw 2 more blues. So we draw 6 out of 9 blues in the top hand and a half. And yeah, I looked at Michael and I said, this is going to be a rough game. It's not going to be right now, but it's going to happen. And he goes, all right, we'll see. And what I knew was going to happen happened. I had 2 back-to-back all red hands, and it was not close. He was at 8 life, had half his fridge left. I was just dead in the water. There was just nothing I could do. I couldn't produce anything offensively because I did not have the resources to do so, and it happens, right? So at the end of day 1, I end up with a record of 5-2 or 6-2, X-2, whatever that was. I think we played 8 rounds. I think it was a long day. Yeah, I think we played 8 rounds. So I think 6-2. So at 6-2, we go into the next day, and I've always felt comfortable drafting. I do not claim to be an amazing drafter by any means, and I didn't come in with like any notion to like force a certain hero or a certain strategy or anything like that. I was just simply trying to play my seat, and yeah. So we sit down at the first draft, and there's actually a very interesting decision. I open my first pack, and the 2 best cards in there are Red Wild Ride and Double Down. And from a card analysis perspective on just which card is better, the answer is 100% Double Down. It's not even close. Wild Ride is good, but you don't want to go too heavy on that strategy, and it might not even be the best way to actually play Brute. So Double Down is definitely the best. However, with that being said, there was a red concuss also in another good warrior card in that pack. So my idea was I'll take the Wild Ride, which is like the only solid brute card, which will push the people to my left into a warrior slash guardian role, right? And that did not happen. The next couple picks were like a red bear fangs. I mean, I was just getting brute card after brute card, and then immediately it dries up. And I end up being a 1 of 4 brute in the pod, which is not where you want to be. But we make the best of it, and we go 2-1, losing to Alexander 4. And we talked about it actually after the game, and he goes, "Yeah, I actually don't like utilizing that strategy when I'm not in a top 8 environment because I'm not confident in the other players' ability to pick up on that signal and make those decisions." And I was like, that is an amazing point that I had not considered. So I'm glad I talked to Alex after our game and chatted about that, because I definitely learned something for sure. And obviously he went on to top 8 the event, so congratulations to him. And so we sit down in the second pod. The pod is absolutely stacked. We have Joe, I forget his last name. We have Peter. We have Alexander Vor again in this pod as well. We have myself, Tariq Patel. I mean, just a solid pod. A real rough. I just sit down. I'm like, okay, I got my work cut out for me to 3-0 this pod, right? But we draft our seat. We draft exactly what we're supposed to draft. We are a 1 of 2 brute. Again, it just worked out that way. Like I said, I did not force anything. I didn't go in with any idea like, oh, I'm playing KO every single time. It just, the signs were there in the beginning in the first draft, but in the second draft, it was 100% the correct decision. I even got it down to the archetype correct. So Tariq was the other brute in the pool, and he went more. There's like 2 archetypes that you can do with KO. You can do like lead with speeds into more not like non-6 variety, and just play the value game, block a lot more, things like that. Or you can just get as many 6s as you can and go with the Wild Ride / Bear Fang kind of composition. And he went value based, non-attacks, kind of cast bones a little bit, stuff like that. I went with the Wild Rides and stuff like that. So I just took all the 6s that I possibly could. And so I drafted my seat down to the archetype, right? Because we were not competing in any way other than, of course, stuff like raw meat and stuff like that. But I think we both got a full suite of armor. If not, we probably closely did. So after that conclusion of that draft, I'm like, I love my deck. It's going to do well. We play our first game. We win. It was against Joe. And then we sit down across from Peter, and he's on Victor. And I'm feeling pretty confident. However, we have the same situation happen where we draw the all red hand after popping the flat trackers to kind of like, there was a situation where I kind of smelled blood in the water kind of situation. And I was like, okay, all I need to do is get one last push in, and I can get him off of his hand every single turn, and then offensively fatigue him, or just kill him off of break points, or him having 2 blocks. And so I pop the flat trackers. I draw my hand. It's all reds, and literally the cheapest thing I can play in my hand is like a red pack hunt. And so I pitched 2 reds to play pack hunt. It's not exciting. It's so bad value. And then he claps back with like a Smack to Reality or something like that for a 9 or whatever that card comes in for, and just I'm unable to recover, and we lose that match. And Peter goes on to play his winning in for top 8 against Tariq, and then I play against another warrior. and we take that one down. So we ended the tournament at a record of what, 10-4, I believe, if I counted the rounds correctly. We lost 4 matches out of 14, landing at 18th. So not only bubbling, but bubbling outside of the the top 16 pay. But what can you do? So overall, I think as far as gameplay, there was only one of the games that I truly believe that if I made some different decisions, I could have won, and that was in the sealed day one. I think there was one matchup that I didn't see that the game was going to end up in a fatigue state at a soon enough time, and I didn't create a kind of board state that would be conducive for me being the warrior, kind of like get them low enough to where I can just find a reaction and kill him kind of situation. Instead, I've kind of like played value game for a little bit too long. Yeah, I paid the price for that. So I think I could have turned that one into a win. The other three, I played them over in my head. I analyzed them up and down. I truly believe that there wasn't a whole lot that could have been done. A lot of it just had to do with not having pitch cards and having more than enough in the deck. I think my KO deck had like 12 blues, which is plenty. And the crazy part was like I only had 4 or 5 non-6s in the entire deck. It was really good. And yeah, so it just happens, right? That's variance and it happens. So happy with the performance. It's another top 20. And yeah, then Ed Knight made it on to top 4 actually, of the Battle Hardened, and dropping a game against Yuki, who ultimately went to win it. So congratulations to Yuki, and then also congratulations to Mark for taking down the Calling as well. That was a stacked top 8 in the Calling, and it's no easy feat coming out with the win there. So that was kind of my recap. Some of the things that I learned was don't overvalue cards like Wild Ride and stuff like that. Even if you mitigate the variance properly, the variance of drawing and discarding a card and not knowing what you're going to be left with could throw off your curve and make it actually into an inefficient play. I think Bear Fangs is a much safer card. And I would much rather have like a wind-up card rather than any type of, Wild Ride or yeah, like I just like the wind-up cards a lot better. You can discard them in reactions while you're clawing, give it go again, things like that. So I learned a lot about how good Warrior is. I think Warrior is probably one of the best classes in the limited format. It's just currently my opinion, but with that being said, you got to build them correctly, and you have to like know your win cons, know your outs, and there's a lot of play on the opponent too, not knowing when to not block with attack reactions and whatnot to deny the extra value associated with those reactions. So with that being said, that concludes like my recap of the actual Calling. One thing that I wanted to touch on was one thing over on Twitter. Hang on, I got a question in. Do you think the amount of variance they have in this format is too much, too little, or a healthy amount? So obviously I have a little bit of bias to say it's too much because I was on the bad end of it. However, if I take a step back and just analyze the situation, I think it's actually the perfect amount. It has a little bit of that Monarch situation where there's like really swingy cards. But it's exciting, right? Like there's clashes, there's tense moments, there's the way Peter got me was he played a test of strength, flipped over whatever the Thonk or Wall Up, whichever one creates a might token if you reveal it on a clash. So he got a gold, which drew him a card, and he got 2 might or something. And it was just like insane. So much value. But like that's exciting, right? Like it creates an environment where things are unknown and it's exciting. So I think that they have a healthy amount of variance within the format, and a lot of it can be mitigated via in-game decision and deck building decision. For example, if you have like 10 misses and you're playing like the Wild Ride deck versus KO or as KO, you can like sit at an arsenal, wait for a moment where you actually know you can wait for a moment where your ratio is correct, right? Like you draw a say 3 non-sixes in a hand, you kind of block out, play the highest value of the hand, and then the next hand you're like, okay, I'm gonna play this Wild Ride in Arsenal because I know mathematically it has a very high chance of hitting. So you can make those plays like that to really swing the odds, and I definitely highly recommend doing so. So over to Twitter real quick. Just wanted to touch on this just for a second. So historically, when I finish top 20 in a event, I like to carry the mentality of, you know, basically I basically do the same thing every time. I'm sad for a second because I came up short, but at the same time, I reflect and I sit there and say that, you know, everybody probably does the same thing. They take out their phone and they say, okay, I landed 18th out of 420 people. That means I'm in the top 4.28% or whatever, like whatever the case may be. And that's what I did. And I was like, okay, that's what I usually do. But for some reason, this one, I don't know, it felt different. Maybe it was just the fact that it had happened so many times. And I don't know, my mental just kind of like overcorrected, not entirely sure. And so I laid this out there, just kind of like expressing the frustration of like always getting to a certain level and it not getting a little bit higher, right? Because it from a like win percentage and performance like level, this is like insane consistency, and I realize that, and I'm grateful for it. But at the same time, it's like, always coming up just a hair short, right? And I just wanted to say thank you to the Fab community and all these people that, just said everything from hang in there, try this, do this, whatever. And a lot of people that I look up to as players, right? Majin, Yuki, Hamilton's in here. Just a lot of people just came and gave their opinion and, either supported it or, offered suggestions. And I'm just super grateful of the Fab community coming out and, just, basically saying, keep trucking on, right? And that's exactly what we plan on doing. So thanks to everybody who interacted with me on that. I do appreciate it so much. Just good to have a card game community that'll do that when you're when you're frustrated with certain results and things like that. So I really do appreciate it. So I guess let's go ahead and get into the topic that everybody is into right now, and that is KO. Give me 1 second, chat. So everybody thinks that KO is either the best deck or close to it right now. And I would not say that they're terribly wrong in any way. I think that KO has some weaknesses, and we're going to talk about that for a second. But we are going to look at the Yuki list and kind of like say, okay, in this spot, I kind of had this card versus this card kind of situation and kind of compare, right? And maybe come to, the the same conclusion, or try to understand why by kind of just analyzing, right? And then we're just going to hop into some games and actually play. And so the first thing that is of difference, hang on 1 second. Okay, so we have Savage Feast, which was in my very first iteration of KO, and the thought process of Savage Feast was the deck kind of operates on a double blue curve, is kind of the idea, where your like maximum push is either off of a double blue or a blue / tunic counter. And you can do things like play a swing big with an agility token and then tunic claw, or you can double swing big, things like that, which is why most things in the deck, if you look, are 2 cost, right? Unless the card does something inherently powerful, is kind of like how you look at it, right? So this is just a high utility blue, so it costs 3. We make an exception. But as far as the cards that you actively want to be playing on offense, they all cost 2. Because that's the general structure of the deck. However, Savage Feast does not fit that category, right? However, what it does do is it allows you on certain turns where you don't have tunic counter, you can still fit the curve of a 6 into another 6 without the tunic counter, and that's kind of the exception. And Yuki's list has a lot more ways to float an agility token than a lot of other KO lists that I've seen. Sorry, hang on 1 second. Okay, so like I said, the Savage Phase kind of fills that void of the turns where you do not have a tunic counter, or you have a yellow instead of a blue, whatever the case may be. And the windups are just utility, basically, right? You have the ability to, obviously, Agile is the better one because you can make both tokens instead of just 2 mites, which kind of gives you more flexibility on how you want to play the following turn. And yeah, that cat was hungry, so I had to call the wife to feed the cat. And yeah, so basically, the list that I had before has like a lot of similarities. And I also saw that in the maybe category of the list she had was 2 cards that I have in my list. The Skullcrack, especially because it basically, anytime it's discarded on a random effect, you get that bonus, right? Now, one thing that I think is brilliant about this list is that it's not running Skullcrack. I think the only reason that Skullcrack is good in my list, because I play it, is because I run Yellow Wild Ride and Yellow Pulping. So I have more ways to randomly discard cards than, say, Yuki's list, which makes the value on Skullcrack go up, right? So I'm actually excited to see that Skullcrack is not in this list, because you don't have a whole lot of ways to kind of make that happen. You have some, but not a lot. And so I 100% agree with that notion. I think it's brilliant. Everybody's on Cast Bones. That's no secret. That's why it spiked to $40. Everybody knows it's powerful. Red Assault and Battery was a card that I played around with a little bit. I think I slept on a little too hard. I think it's just an amazing mid-range tool that allows you to make a minimal investment but set up the following turn. Everybody's playing Sin Packing and Red Pulping. Those are pretty much staples, and I think most lists are running at least Red Clash of Agility. I would say that the yellow ones are a good bit of innovation on Yuki's behalf, and then everybody's kind of running the Hedge Against Mech and the equipment here. So really, the runner, the yellow Clash with Agility, and the Assault Battery and the Savage Feast are kind of where the the lists differ. I didn't have 3 yellow agile windups in mind. I think this is 100% correct. And runner, I completely analyzed runner in the wrong way. When I initially kind of like did my analysis on runner, I came to the conclusion that basically it was kind of one of those situations where I thought the card was intended to like go super wide, play runner into, another wild ride and then so forth and so forth. But that's not the intention of the card. I think the intention of the card is it's actually disruption prevention, right? Because KO is actively trying to play this mid-range game plan and kind of set up bigger turns is what KO is actively trying to do. But let's say you make the investment of an agility token. Well, and then somebody throws a CNC at you. Well, runner allows you, it opens up the line of blocking with 2 cards to cancel out the CNC, and then playing runner, which then copies the agility token, and then the next turn, if they don't present disruption, you're in the same situation. So it's effectively just a disruption 2-step is basically how it should be looked at. Or that's like the main reason why I would consider this card in my list. And I would play it against decks that are very disruptive. I think both of us were on and No Fear. I think that's a no-brainer. It's just an argument of whether you want 3 or 2, but it does some great things. The one thing that I will say, I love the pack hunt. I actually mentioned this on Twitter that I thought it was a really good inclusion, possibly over yellow pulping, because you don't want too many of the no blocks, right? I really like the number that she's on, which is a total of 9 in the form of Bare Fangs Wild Ride and the red pulping. But with that being said, the yellow pulping in and of itself can be very risky, right? That's just kind of the nature of the beast. However, with that being said, it does have Dominate on it. So if you are running this list specifically, I think one thing that you have to do is be mindful of fatigue. I think that there is some improvements that could be made to the list to combat that strategy. The real question is the meta in a spot where you need to be doing so? And I'm not saying that it's incorrect to not build toward fatigue. What I'm saying is that if the meta becomes fatigue and we see decks like that, Fatigue Bravo or Slab Dash or anything like that, a list like this will somewhat struggle into it. Is it going to be an auto loss? Absolutely not. But it will just struggle more than having, say, more pulpings or something, or more of a solidified kind of anti-fatigue plan, because you do have damage stacking with cast bones, you do have pulping, but with the random discards, there's a lot of games where you just simply won't have agency. Is kind of the situation, and this deck is just, I would say, overall a little less prepared than other versions could be. And I've been experimenting with several things. For example, triple cast bones and then actually running the gambler gloves and basically putting a cast bones in arsenal, waiting for the second one, and then basically having to roll scabbies to get 2 action points to double cast bones, and then have the gloves there literally just to bail me out for that one play. I think that the problem is you have to factor in the opportunity cost of not having the Apex, and you cannot afford the armor loss and the might gain for any matchup. You basically would only make that play if you did scouting and you knew the information, right? you would kind of have it in your sideboard. You would walk the tables, and you saw somebody playing slapdash or something like that. Maybe you would make that pivot, right? Is kind of the way that I would look at it. I don't think it's like, oh, you just run Gambler Gloves into basically every Bravo. I think that's super risky, and I don't think it would have a positive ROI making that decision. Also, I love the reckless swing. There was one game against Victor that Yuki played on the on stream, and I kind of underestimated. I really underestimated the fact that this just creates board states that are just auto wins. Like the second that he went from 5 to 3 life, I saw it on Yuki's face. I also saw the game state solution. There was zero chance Yuki loses that game from that point on, because she can just sit there and pitch to claw, and no matter what happens, she can just win the game with both reckless swings that are left in her deck. And so that also does solve the fatigue problem inadvertently. Now, is that going to work if the decks that you're playing against are running 3 sigils and stuff like that? I don't know. Maybe. But this is a very interesting inclusion. I think it's good, but it's also kind of risky, of course, because you're... I do like how the cast bones are in the sideboard, not the main board, which makes this a lot less risky. There's some matchups where you can't really afford to miss on your Wild Rods and your Bear Fangs, and maybe you don't include cast bones, or maybe you just include 1 to round out. Because 6, I think, is the safe number that I like to be at personally, either 6 or below for misses on the Bear Fangs and the Wild Rods. And so, yeah. Overall, I was really, really impressed with the list. I thought it did a lot of good things. It does a lot of things really well. The one thing, there was one blue difference that I thought was interesting. The Smash Instinct over the, what was that other blue option? I forget what the other blue is. I'm not entirely sure. I did remember that this was a interesting inclusion, though, for sure. But everything else looks pretty standard. Nothing like, just out there. It's just a good mid-range value game plan that does good numbers and actually blocks well and has a lot of armor. That's a dangerous combination. And yeah, so let's go ahead and give me 2 seconds, chat, while I set this stuff up. Get Talent Shard open. Oh, we don't have to do open format anymore. We can do actual CC. What a world. What a world. Oh yeah, it was reincarnate. That's what I was on for the blue slot. Just kind of as a, it's not exactly the best, anti-fatigue tool, because unfortunately on the reincarnate it says random, right? So you can't like actively discard it and get that done. So Reinhardt can run the D-React, so pulping can be a little risky. But we need to hedge here, and Sin Packing is really good to two-step the... We can afford to clash, but it can be... I think we're definitely favored in the clashes, so this is fine. And if we're clashing here, we definitely bring in runner. Also, the interesting thing is the blue count in this list. There's only 21. I think I was running 24 in mine, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just going to tell them, please bear with me thinking. Because if they are on like the club kind of thing, we do have to worry about some aspect of fatigue here. So that is something that we have to be cognizant of. Um, but with that being said, I think we should be good. Reiner is one of those iffy decks. You just don't know what they are trying to do. Yeah, we'll add the pulpings in just in case. Run a little bit higher. Okay, so we have a clean 60, so we probably didn't need the pulpings, but that is okay. Hey Nathan, pleasure to meet you at Hartford. Was the guy who talked about prime to fight and card evaluation. Hey, what's up? What is up? That's a video that I need to do, 100%. He basically asked a question about like how to evaluate certain cards that are like much more conditional and like how to compare them to other things. And I thought that would be a great topic to cover. So here we're just gonna attempt to get a agility token to kind of solidify the hand. That way we're not taking a chance on the wild rod, and we can just yeet a Bare Fangs out and guarantee that go again. Look at that. He was getting one anyway. So that was a risk-free clash. Look at that. That is value. This is not the most exciting. We already have go again, but let's eat this and see what happens. Hopefully we can get another blue. A rip. Okay. So not exciting. We just talked about the risk of this card, and that's how it goes down sometimes. In this situation, if we didn't win the clash, the turn would be over. Or we would have obviously sent a wild ride instead, and the turn would be over. So winning the clash did mitigate the risk there, which is definitely more favorable than not. However, the follow-up here, if we would have drawn the blue, discard the red, we could have went Mandible Claw into another wild ride and kind of kept pushing. But this situation's fine. We do lose the 3 damage, the Might, and the 2 on the Bare Fangs, but it is what it is. Value merge. Is that the third Crawford brother? What's up? All right, we have a blue. That's all we care about. We are drawing all of our no blocks straight up top. Okay, so we get intimidated with our blue. We do not care because that's literally the only thing of value. The problem here is we don't know if we have a CNC that will follow or a send packing. So unfortunately, in this given situation, I think we have to hold out on the blocks. Okay. And this is the hard part about playing KO. I want to block 3-on-3 here and then just play this and then hopefully draw a red, discard and then play, right? Like that's the dream. But if we don't draw the blue, or there's not a whole lot more we can do with the hand, is kind of the situation that we're in. We can mitigate that risk by playing the arsenal and opening up what we can discard. That's actually not a bad idea. So we'll just wait and see if there's anything further. Okay, riled up. That's not so bad. Yeah, I think we have to. It feels greedy keeping this whole hand. But once again, when every single card that you draw in the top part of your deck does not block, this is literally we pitched 1 to the bottom, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 9 no blocks in the top 2 hands. Actually insane. Actually, hand and a half. We haven't even drawn a bunch of cards. I want to block with the swing big. And I think we should. I think it's greedy to keep it. Okay, so here we obviously have to send the wild ride. We discard the runner, get the might token, and then we will pitch into Bear Fangs. Unfortunately, we do not have Tunic Counter, or it'd be an amazing play to be able to take Tunic Counter and send the Bear Fangs. Would love to do that. 8-0, nice. Oh, sorry. We are not 8-0 right now. This is the first game. We were not off to that strong of a start. Let me correct that real quick. We are 0-0 as of right now. That was from the last one. Okay, making that might token, pretty decent play. Unfortunately, we have to come off an arsenal. I think it's too good here. There is an argument to swing claw, but I do like the idea of sending 8 while he has the might token. Because what I don't want to see, what I really do not want to see, is a CNC for 7. It scares me to death. So we don't want that to happen. But it's just a smash instinct. We don't really particularly care. Got rid of our pack hunt, which is our best offensive card. So this hand right here is interesting. I think it's pretty straightforward. I think we block with Beast. And then we have the ability to pitch the blue, swing claw, discard agile in reaction. Give it go again, tunic counter, pack hunt, I think is the best way that we can extract value from this hand. There's a third? What? Who is the third Crawford? I gotta know. Okay, so let's go ahead and yeet this. Get use out of this tunic counter. This does look like a very sus CNC play, so maybe we can get some value from the Intimidate here. We'll see. I'm not expecting a crazy amount, but let's see. Overall, I think we're doing pretty good on just, we have a decent amount of tempo. We're ahead on block. We're set up better for next turn. He is probably going to Blood Rush Bellow us, though, which is really unfortunate. I wish I had some form of disruption here to kind of stop that from happening, but we don't. Hopefully it was a good Intimidate. We can only dream. Okay, just eating it. That means we got a bellow on our hands. Or not. See, that's way less exciting in Rhinar. It's cool to Intimidate. But, like, I don't know. This is an interesting one. So, Massacre... This has go again? So both of our blues got intimidated. We weren't blocking with those anyway. We have 1 card in hand, 2 floating. I think this is a good flesh bag. I'm 90% sure. So I think the line that I like is basically flesh bagging here. And we have the line open up to us to where we can send the Agile wind up for 7. with go again. And then no matter what they do, if they flashbang us, we want to swing sin packing afterwards. However, if they do intimidate us, we can swing claw after no matter what. So it's not quote unquote the end of the world, right? I do like that idea. So I think we just do that. Flashbang would have been good for him here. Yep. What's the link for the place to practice drafting /sealed? That would be in the Runaways Discord is what that would be. So he's ditching that card. That's fine. That could have prevented us from having a claw situation into something else. So that's perfectly fine. And we know that's it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and send the Agile wind up. Pitching this. If we do get a flashback here, well, what I'll probably actually end up doing is just instant this out, the Agile wind up to get double token, and then Arsenal, which means the sin packing will get intimidated away, and then we'll just Arsenal it at the end of the turn, is probably the line that I fancy. But if he doesn't flashback, then we're just going to yeet it, which we're more than happy to do so. And see, in this situation right here, we basically invalidate the agility token because he is going to have to give us so much to make that happen. So we're just going to let that be good. And we're going to yeet this and say, what you going to do? Okay, it's just a high roller, so maybe we helped him. He's trying to set it up like a big intimidate turn, but we're happy just getting a free card, right? So we saved ourselves from an intimidate, which means we're at a higher effective life total, which is a good spot to be. Okay. We have 9. 9, 9, 9. I don't like being too risky here. Not a huge fan. Is this a Scabby situation? Surely not, right? We need to get the... Yeah, I haven't got my Blood Rush Bellows either. I mean, this feels like a great opportunity to get value out of the chess piece. I feel like that's what I want to do. So I actually like doing this. Maybe even this. To make sure that we're staying at a healthy life for intimidate purposes and whatnot. And then we could just yeet the pack hunt. And then hopefully on the following turn, establish some type of... we could do the whole I was thinking about doing Scabbies and then like Savage Feast and all that, but it felt unnecessarily risky. Because at this point, if we can still just mid-range the game, what we can do is put him in a spot to where he has to give us flesh bag without an actual intimidation value, which is really what we want to do. I thought about it, Justin. I thought about it. Thought about giving the or rolling the dice, but I don't think it's correct. So this is an exceptionally average hand. Although, okay. Well, that's our only blue, so you weren't getting that anyway. Okay. Now, this is actually interesting. Let's say we roll and win. What happens? We play Savage Face, we pitch the blue, we discard one of these, and we draw a random card. And we have two floating, which means theoretically, no matter what gets discarded or what gets intimidated, we have a play where we can do something. We're at non-life, and effectively, without taking any risk, the max thing we can do is send 9. And I'm not even sure that this 9 is going to hit because we've been through so many cards, and we have only seen one miss. So we have 3 bellows, 3 cast bones, all in the top X cards. So like we have 7 misses out of probably 35 effective, which means that is roughly what? 20% of our deck is a miss, which makes and then I'm literally just doing 7 damage with nothing else. So I think in this situation, I think we have to roll. I think we're missing out on too much to not. So if we roll a 1, we're definitely out in the game. But you know, if we get a 4 here, okay. So we're back to the same situation. So here, I think we just have to basically stack pitch the Bear Fangs and send the CNC, which would be 7. He does have armor, though, so maybe just the Bear Fangs is actually better. The Bear Fangs is actually better. So we will send the Bear Fangs, draw discard, and go from there. And that'll send 9, plus it'll make a Might in the back, which will help us on the value on the next turn. And this will get, and here is that flesh bag of no value, basically, that we were looking for. If you get 2 action points, don't you CNC Bear Fangs? That play gets shut down by flesh bag, so that's never happening. I have to play the Arsenal to invalidate flesh bag, is what happens. Okay. This is okay. At least we got him on a smaller hand. If he rips a blue here, we're really far behind, probably. Here's our yellow. We were keeping that regardless, so that intimidate didn't matter. I really want to block with these two, send CNC for 7, which is just going to obviously get the tunic and 2 cards, and then hopefully he can just... Okay, so we have to go and get some block value here. We don't have a choice. Because we're worried about the a whole nother intimidate, basically. Did he draw the resources? He has the extra blue. Which means we have to give a card here, too. And hope we don't die to some form of intimidate. Is basically where we're at. And we do. And this is the situation where I realized what we needed to do. Uh, we were one intimidation situation from dying, which is why I took the chance on the scabbies because I was trying to avoid this situation. Is what we were actively attempting to do. But it happens. It happens. We missed on the roll, but the important part was we recognized. We recognized what we needed to do. We tried to accomplish it. The dice didn't let us, but at least we recognized it. So I think we played it well. And we didn't get a single bellow. We didn't resolve a cast bones. We missed on the bear fangs at the beginning. That was super unfortunate. But that is okay. Let me update the counter. Okay, we have a Kasai. We are going to want to go second in this matchup. Here we win clashes all the time. This is free agility, which makes this high value. This card is okay in this matchup. And then we can run. So this is our agility generation, and then we can run one cast bones, maybe. That seems fair. I don't think no fear is justifiable against Kasai. I don't think the attacks are tall enough or whatnot. So I think that's where we want to be. That just makes the most sense. Yeah, no bellow till the end was silly. I agree. I had to pop off your channel once I saw the name was behind. I hadn't realized you were in games. Yep. What's this? Yeah. We found a bellow, chat. We found one. I wish Betsy was playable. Yeah. She just doesn't do enough, unfortunately. Simple as that. Unfortunate situation, but we got to do what we got to do. If he's swinging once, he is, fully intending to swing again, which means we are going to leak. Oh, I didn't realize it didn't have go again. That was my fault, chat. That was bad. Swing here, draw discard. We get the wild ride. Yeah, we just threw the bellow away from. I mean, he could have Blade Runner. I mean, I have to assume Garrett because he played Slice and Dice. That just to me yells, "Hey!" And we could have discarded the Mighty Windup on their turn. The one problem with that play is that just seems so sus to give up our only blue to do that. It could be correct, but just seems kind of iffy. But this is a perfect curve here, and the hand kind of plays itself. Damn, the ugly Lexi gameplay. Oh, man. And then a swing big. This card's very dangerous against Kasai. She can basically block 2 cards for 6 and then give a little bit of armor, and then literally on 1 card just swing the sabers. And it be insane value against me. So I'm not a huge fan of swinging this too loosely, but yep, this is exactly what they're going to do. Makes sense. It's a high value play. But, what can you do? Outland Skirmish. I would love to prevent the copper generation, but I just don't have the hand that's going to allow me to do so. And I have the might token. So in this situation, I kind of favor just probably taking this damage and then just sending CNC for 7, discarding the Agile, setting up for the next turn. Assuming they do not play the Arsenal. They do have 1 floating, so they could play it here. But if that's the case, then we could just open up the conversation of just blocking on the following swing. But yeah, they are gonna get the copper, unfortunately. Yeah, my side out swing big versus Kasai. It can be a tough situation for sure. That you have to be very, very careful. Okay, and so the Outland Skirmish does not last the whole turn. It's just next attack. So we could block this if we wanted. He's basically told us that there's no intention to play the Arsenal unless it's in the swing. I think this is a bad place to actually play out it in the swing. I think you keep it in case you draw Spoils of War. So therefore, we have the ability to threaten Arsenal. The ultimate question is, do we send this first, discard, pitch, swing? It's 4 and then 6. It's basically getting 3 value from this card now instead of playing an Arsenal, which is probably okay now that I think about it. But then again, it does set up the Arsenal for the agility token against Kasai with a vigor token. This is close. I'm basically kind of deciding whether I want to swing claw, discard the agile in response, and then pitch the clash to send the CNC, or just send the CNC, discard Arsenal, clash of agility. It's very close. I think that we just send the CNC though. Actually, this is really tough, actually. If we get I think the reason, okay, we do it this way for one reason and one reason only. If we get a card block here, then this is it's basically, the math is the same on both lines, but this gives our opponent an opportunity to make a mistake. And in that situation, you always take the latter because you never know, right? And not that it's necessarily a mistake for them to do it. It's just they don't have full information, right? It's as simple as that. So it basically didn't work because he could just block 2 cards, which is actually the best thing he could have done. Okay, we have the runner to recreate the agility, which is nice. We take it. Spoils of War. Okay, so the way Spoils of War works is anytime you see this card, you block. It does not matter what the hand is. You just block. It's as simple as that. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. Because if you give the copper tokens, I mean, it just gets so out of hand so quickly. So we're going to be slightly inefficient. We're going to give our armor in this manner here. If they have the Blade Flurry, then it sucks. But I really think this is a in the swing. That's what I'm putting him on in the Arsenal. And so we should just get a pass on reactions here and then swing with the other saber. And we can just block 2 cards and then... Okay, this is fine as well. So in this situation, what we can do is block. Yeah, so what we can do is just block 6, right? And then we can play runner runner into Tunic Claw on the following turn, which we like. So we just block 6 in that manner there. We carry over the agility token, and everybody is happy. So we progress the game. We did not give them a single copper token on their big turn, and we keep pushing forward. Hey, do you know anywhere I could find a sideboard guide for Azalea? Well, the Azalea expert that I know is Levi. He would be the one that I would contact, but I don't know if his information is public. That's personally up to him. Have you done any Levi testing? I think she's amazing right now. Reckless. I would love to reckless. The problem is I had the runner runner, which carries over the agility token, and I had tunic counter up, which is such a clean play that if I rip a red off of the beast within, I take damage for absolutely no reason, and I lose my tunic counter just to swing claw. And it's just the worst play. So, but overall, I would say that, okay, this is very important. Yep. So when he didn't block with dynamos, we knew he wasn't going for a double swing. That's just like a tidbit that you can kind of pick up on this deck specifically. Now, this is also very interesting because we have Savage Feast with an agility token, which means we are going to back out of. We do have to use Flashback here, which is unfortunate. But what we can do is go ahead and get value from the Apex and block. I guess because we're leading with Savage Feast, because we have to. I guess it doesn't matter because whichever one is left is what is discarded. So it's completely irrelevant what we block with here. We're just next leveling because we're like showing the CNC, so maybe he like doesn't arsenal this card because he's scared or something. You know, we're trying to next level. Boneyard with agility and a CNC, swing big. Yeah. Coward talk. Oh man. So we float 1, we draw the worst thing. Oh, okay. In this situation, we got to arsenal it. I think this card's worth way more than just 3 value here, and there's no other way to look at it. Great that we get blocks here. Okay, so he's blocking with boots, so we're expecting a double swing. That gives us a piece of information that we will gladly use. We're just going to pass and then arsenal this, which could tip something off. It's something that we have to be, you know, aware of, but I kind of doubt it. We'll see. And this is a great hand to go ahead and get an agility token for the big turn, and we can actually do a lot of damage. So really, we do not want him to play Spoils of War. If he doesn't play Spoils of War, we're just hitting pass. You can have all the gold you want, free of charge. I'm not going to fight you on it. Yep, you got it, because you have Blade Runner in Arsenal. Or Glint, either one. And either one I don't particularly care about. Yep, there's the Blade Runner. And get the gold, but you can't dump into grains because you need to swing again. It's for 7. We just take it. And we go ahead and discard to get the agility token, which will make our bellow even better. So let's go ahead and hit it. We did get rid of our blue, which is kind of bad. Oh, but this is so good because we have the agility token that we created. So we can go ahead and hit Savage Feast. Boom. We draw a card, hit the blue, and we're rolling, chat. And we're rolling, chat. We deleted our blue, but then we found another one. Dynamos feels crazy. It is a lot of good value. The problem is unless you... It's kind of the same problem with Hatchet Story, where if you don't have Spoils of War or something like super relevant, you just don't have an on hit. You do things that are above rate value-wise, but you don't have anything that applies pressure, which allows me to make plays like this that are way, way above rate. So the agility token gave the Savage Feast go again. So then we claw and then go ahead and finish with a pack hunt for 8 with Intimidate. Now we are behind on armor. That's one thing that I wouldn't say that we're in like a commanding position, but we're in a solid spot. They haven't blocked with boots yet, which would indicate that they're probably about to throw another nourishing. If I had to guess, they also made an active effort to banish the other nourishing out of their graveyard. So probably going to get nourishing the next turn, and I don't think we can stop it unless we draw our second copy of Reckless Swing. But now they're at 9 with no intention to swing Double Saber. We're going to do the same thing because why not? It's like I've played this matchup before, chat. And unfortunately, we can't stop it. So can't stop, won't stop. We are just going to take it, discard the Agile Wind Up, get go again. Do we need the agility token in this spot is the question. Because technically, we can just clash and get the agility token the same way and prevent damage. Because we're going to win this clash. I'm like almost certain. I think this is the better play. It doesn't make sense to discard. Might as well block and get it. Okay, who knew? We won. And so we have our agility token, and we presented 3 damage in doing so. Okay, so here in this situation, we are just going to play out the Blood Rush Bellow. Get rid of our only blue, but that's fine. We're going to draw 2 cards. And we have a very, very clean play. This does make it look like we bricked, but we did not. Yo, I thought this channel had Yu-Gi-Oh content. That's why I subbed. Look at this. This is Flesh and Blood, a way better game than Yu-Gi-Oh. Feel free to stick around if you want. So we have the claw for 6. We're going to follow, obviously, with the sin packet for 8, which is a decent break point. The problem is Kasai's got 14,000 cards to block with for this particular rotation. But we are getting stuff early, which is nice. You get old news around these parts. That's a fact. Our cards have 10% of the text. That is so true. So true. All right, send packing. We have information, which we take. That's the one thing I love about this card is not just the fact that it, is a good card, but you just get information, right? It's like, okay, I know he has a yellow Blade Runner. Okay, so that takes the guesswork out of what is coming next, which is amazing. And we take it. Oh, another Blade Runner. Who knew? Okay, so they have a yellow Blade Runner. We have a cash in. Back up to 5 cards. Getting more gold. Slice and dice. Actually in a weird spot here. The hand is kind of... I don't know how much we progress the game by just sending Bear Fangs. Like, obviously, that's the highest value play. We just block 6, Bear Fangs, and then call it a day. But, like, I don't know. I don't know how we progress the game by doing that. Please tell me this isn't a Scabby's roll. Because we got Tunic counter. We're like locked and loaded no matter what we discard on the Bear Fangs. Like we're in there. I'm not sure. This feels like a Scabby's roll. Yeah, I mean, 2-card 9, like that's the default, right? But it means like how does the game go from there, right? I guess we're so far ahead on life. Okay. We'll not block this one. We'll lay down 2 cards. We'll send the 9, see what happens. Roll, get a 6 win. Yeah, that's the dream. We no longer have information. There's the Blade Runner. He did dump into grains, which is important information. Another cash in, sure. I would actually rather you do it that way. Okay. Sure. See, this is the situation, right? Like, if I block 6 here, it goes to 11. I take 5, go to 10. And then I send 9. He blocks 2 cards, dynamos. He has an arsenal plus. He could probably even end the swing this, right? So I'm probably going down to 7 if I had to guess. And he's going to have an arsenal and 2 cards, dynamo reset with a Vicar token. I feel like the 2-card 9 play is like playing to not lose instead of playing to win. I don't know. I want to be disciplined, but we're gonna try it. But I'm kind of like hesitating against this play. Favor seen. Okay. Double vigor. So he could just block all this. And like go about his day. And still produce a solid turn. Roll scabs, claw, bear fangs. That's a little too much. If I was gonna roll scabs, I'd keep it all and do it. The unfortunate part is with warrior, there's no way if they go to 4, I don't think there's a way that we can like get the guaranteed win / game state off of reckless swing because we have to like not die to reaction in the process of trying to get to it, which is easier said than done. So you have a D react. Okay. Currently taking 3 mega. And a full grip. This is what I was scared of. Yowza. Are we just dead here? Wow. This next one's coming in for +6. So we have an 8 following. None floating. This could be in the swing at worst. We haven't even seen one, I don't believe. We have not seen a single in the swing. So max possible damage here in this situation is 6 plus 8 plus 3. So we're at 17 effective damage, which we die. Will we stay at 1 if we block with everything? So we can't play around that. We have to assume that this is not in the swing. So if it's not in the swing, what are we actively trying to accomplish? And that is what are we trying to accomplish? No, he drew a card, so he doesn't need to. Right? Didn't he draw a card? No, he didn't draw a card. He does need to pitch for it. Okay. Block 7, use Tunic to send Bear Fangs. And then this guarantees that the Bear Fangs actually hits. I mean, that's the best thing I can come up with, chat. And then we're just going to eat this to the dome. Unfortunately. Which will give him a Vigor token, some copper. But there's a blood right there. And there's a blood in here. So there's only 1 blood left in the deck. Sketchy place to be. Oh, wait. Oh, it's still their turn. Whoop. Very sketchy place to be, but this does present a problem. He goes to 2 if he doesn't give me 3 cards, no matter how, unless he has a D-React. That's the exception, right? But assuming these are all 3 blocks, he can go 6 and then 2, which means he would take 1 and go to 2 and dot a reckless swing, which we know we have 1 in the next 15 cards. So totally up to him. But yeah, this seems okay. We might can claw our way back. How many cash-ins does he have? He's played 2, I believe. 1 and 2. We have seen a Fate for Scene. We have not seen a Sink Below. So very interesting to see what he could possibly have here. Yep, the one misplay here was probably blocking with the bellow on turn 0. I was trying to think not to. I was assuming there was going to be a second swing because he played the slice and dice, but maybe he baited me. That is the one play that I think could have been better. I think the rest of it has been pretty clean. Pretty clean. So he's got to give me 3 cards here unless he has a D-react. If he doesn't want to have... If he doesn't want to allow me to have Reckless Swing as a win con. We're just trying to KO him. Simple as that. We're just trying to get that value. That value. All right, there's the 3 cards. He does not want to go to Reckless Swing range. However, with this hand, really? Really? So he had the Vigor token. He could have Centauri Saber. I would have blocked. He could have Glint, drawn a card, which makes the second Saber swing free, swung. Okay. So what do we want to play around here is the question. I think the thing is we just don't want to dot a Blade Fury. I think that's the only thing that we're actively trying to accomplish. If he blind rips the Blade Runner, then he's just better, but there's 2 yellow and a red, and then there's 2 blue and a red, so there's 1 of each color left. I don't think it's Route. I think that's a bit of a stretch, but it could definitely be Blade Fury. We've only seen 1, if I'm not mistaken. 1 Blade Fury at the beginning. Maybe not. Yeah, just 1. So that means Cast Bones is too slow anyway. So this just has to be the best block. If he has it, he hasn't. That's the worst case scenario for us. Because then you get the extra swing and it comes in for a bonus amount. Which means that we basically have to block 6 and then send 4, which only gets 1 card. Right? There's no other way around it. We can't send Smash Instinct because then we die here even if we give Tunic, so we just have to give. And that will get us killed next turn. Yep. Rip the perfect card off the gold for sure. Literally could not have been a better card. We did. GG. Yep. So I think we played it pretty solid. I don't. If I could go back, I'd redo that first turn 0. I don't think giving the bellow, probably just block with the 2 attacks and then call it a day. And then if he pumps it on the following, just give the bellow on that turn or on that swing. So that definitely would have made the difference of 1 damage. So live and learn there for sure. Snagging the Blade Runner on the gold too does not hurt. So let's go ahead and get another one. GG, Chris. Good game. Kano. Okay, for Kano, we want to go second. We want our AB package. And we want the bailout equipment. And we want no fear. Without cast bones, we want the yellows to increase our pitch. We want the pulping for a little bit of high roll closure. And we win all the clashes. So probably go here as well. Okay. Yeah, there's 2 no fears in the list. Random question, but isn't it better to play your out on the first Centauri swing and just let them have it? That way you can give 2 cards plus Tunic and be at 1 if they have a second swing. Well, I was at 2, so I couldn't just take the Centauri Saber swing, right? Wasn't I at 2? Oh shit! I don't know. You're right, chat. I don't know where my brain was. We're not clashing because we're not blocking. I just thought no attacks, clash, boom. But yeah, you're right. 100%. Runner would be way better. I goofed so bad. Oh, thanks for the correction. You don't want clash. That is 100% correct. Block attack action on first, and they have second block non-attack plus Tunic. Yeah, but then I died of Blade Fury. If I block attack action on the first, I'm at 2, and then Blade Fury kills me. So by blocking with Cast Bones on the first one, I play around Blade Fury and not go again. So I guess it's a question of what you wanted to play around versus the other. Why did I put Clash cards in against Kano? That's so stupid. Oh, man. We'll do 3, and we'll stack pitch one of the reds to kind of hedge. Because we're definitely going to discard this. Oh, 100%. 100%. Do we want go again? Or one more life? I think go again. Is better than one life. Because we really need to just start pressuring as much as we can. God, clash cards against Kano. Chat. You guys got... Oh, I'm so glad I did that. See? The yellow ones are fine. Higher pitch value. You know, we're running AB. I think the yellow ones are fine, but I should definitely be running the Assault and Battery red instead of the Clash of Agility. 100%. Not even close. Do. Oh, this is good. We yeet this. This is a lot of fucking damage. All right, so here's what we're doing, chat. At least what I'm thinking. We're gonna send this for 7, and then we're gonna claw pitching the blue, and then pop cross strap into 8. He has no arsenal, no board. I think it's kind of safe to do so. It really depends on how he blocks. We're not going to go shields down if he doesn't give us any cards, but there he gave us some cards, so it makes me feel a little bit more comfortable. But we're really going to get that leak damage in here. And there's another 8. So we had a, what, 7, 8, 15 plus 5, 20 damage on 4 cards because we did the right thing and chose agility over 1 life. Technically 21 because we got the might. And he could get us pretty good here. I mean, if he wants to take the 8 damage, more power to him. Yep, we got punished in no. Oh my god, chat. Why not? We know he has a yellow in hand, which is going to really affect his ability to push on this turn because he did go get the lesson for the top card. And we are good here. We're just going to send this. Let him decide on blocks, and then we'll send the Clash. Just keep that pressure up. Because that yellow in hand is just going to make things really, really awkward. But at 34, there's no way I'm worried about dying with knowing he has a yellow in hand, tunic counter not on 3, and no arsenal. There's no shot I'm dying. Unless like some stuff happens that is just insane. That's fine. So then we're gonna send this one for another 7. Okay. Got to keep pressure in that hand. We know that he blocked with a Sonic Boom and an Aether Flare, which means he still has the Lesson in Lava. That's more than likely what's going to go in the arsenal. It's one of the key pieces, and that is A-OK. So once he gets the Lesson in Lava into arsenal, which is what he's intending to do, we're going to start being much more conservative and playing a lot more value-based. Is kind of what I'm thinking. So this is kind of cool. Basically, we have the option to just CNC for 7 and then keep the blue, importantly. Because we did have that hand where we had like 3 blues, so securing the blue is actually, I don't mind it in this situation. Majin Bey himself couldn't kill me from this position. The fact that you have been scared of dying at 34 health is terrifying. No, I'm not scared of dying. What do you mean I'm scared of dying? I've literally went to 0 resources every single turn. I'm just calculating like what his possibility is. Ain't nobody scared. Okay. What else do we have? Lesson for 4. We're just gonna no fear it. Wait. I need to make sure he does his opt first. And then once the lesson's on the stack, then we no fear. Banish the whole hand. It does no damage. And then I think we just win the game. This is for 4, so I don't. I'm pretty sure nodes on the stack is already passed, so he can't get it to 5. I'm trying to see like what information I'm trying to hide from him is kind of the situation. But I don't know if the node's opportunity has passed or not, so we're just gonna go ahead and send it all. Zealous belting does work. Okay, let's wild ride it up. Once again, we're not too worried about the outcome because he does not have an arsenal, so not really worried. We're just going to send Claw. No reason to expend the arsenal. Weak draw and discard on the wild ride, but it happens. No big deal. Okay, this looks like a scabby roll if I ever seen one. So we're just gonna go ahead and rip it, see what happens. Okay, moving on. We're just going to yeet the Savage Feast, discard the Beast Within because we're gamers, and we're gonna draw 2 cards. Roll! We did it! We did it, chat. We finally rolled Scabbies. I guess it's the second time today. We did it. We did it. Oh, man. Scabbies. What a drug. Sure. I'm okay with that. And then we claw. What else do you have? This play is actually insane because we have the ability to like yeet the Command and Conquer, and then if he doesn't block this, we can yeet the Command and Conquer and then just like force the hand and then discard the wind up to set up the Bear Fangs for the next turn. It's actually disgusting. Wow. Okay. This is a hand of cards. Yeah. Wait, go back. We have an agility token. What do we eat first? I think it would be. It's got to just be pack hunt, right? Like, say, look, do something. What you got? Right? It has to be pack hunt. Because this basically tells the Kano player, you have to go now. Because at a minimum, you have to assume that I can claw for 5, which means this will be what, 8, 9? This is 9, so it's every card. Yeah, you died a claw, so you have to kill me here. Yeah. No, yeah, I just Tower Shard. Like my mic stand is like, or my mic arm covers up that little section on Tower Shard at the bottom left where it shows all the effects. So I miss that a lot in Tower Shard, but it do be like that. Well, I will admit that's probably about as good as things can go against Kano for anybody. That was we had some good draws there, but we played it well, right? We got conservative a little bit when they were on Arsenal. When they came off of an Arsenal, we hit the gas and we just kept on, right? So I think we played it well, but we also had some good draws, and that makes for a not so close game. Prism. Okay. Here we probably want to go first. Okay. So against Prism, we want all our 6s that pop things, no matter what. Period. That block is what we want. What are we taking out? Good luck, have fun. Cast Bones is kind of cool too, I'm not gonna lie. We'll run a little over, see what happens. Take out the non-blocks. I thought about that. I don't know. This hand sucks. We're gonna pass. Ask him to do something. Yeah, Bearfangs could come out, but I mean that's such a good card, man. I don't know. Popping Halo. Okay. Here, I think we roll Scabbies because we can't just let them have. Okay, since we missed, we pass. No, we just send one. Yeah, let's just send the send packing, because if they don't have anything in hand, then, or if they have a no block, 2 no blocks, then we get the shield and we're cooking. Or the worst thing that could happen could happen. We got debated. Yeah. We roll after they make their move, and this is really bad, really bad. Arsenal. This is better. This is a lot better. Create 2 spectrals. Okay. Okay. Call me crazy, but I'm a flashback here. I know it's stupid early. Just really want to prevent a okay. I think we just do a block check and just push. See what gets absorbed by all this ward. Oh, it didn't have go again. I goofed. Damien. It did not have go again. You are 100% correct. Okay, so we no longer have that issue. So I think we just go here. And then we can just run a runner. And then I'm more of a fan of actually just discarding the agile over. I mean, it's not the worst arsenal, but like it's not amazing either. Yeah, you guys are 100% right. It didn't have go again. I shouldn't have flushed back there. That was a rough one. Okay. Well, if he's playing Genesis, I'm definitely going to ditch the Agile. We will call you crazy. Yep, to be expected. No surprise. Genesis for 4. We're going to pass there. We have multiple lines open to us. Yep. We're going to open up with a send packing, just get information, see what's there, force the block, and then probably just swing claw at Genesis. It's kind of what I'm a fan of right now. Okay, so Merciful, like I said, I just love the fact that this card just gives you information of what's there. So then we can just reevaluate. Okay, you must have a soul shield or something. Yep. So double Merciful there, but one's going to the bottom. Okay. Get some double might. I'm not too worried about a merciful if that's what he wants to drop. More than okay with that. Hand's kind of lackluster, nothing too exciting here. We could drop this on their turn to give go again, but the best solution or the best result there is 8 and then 3, which isn't crazy, but he is trying to double aura here. Okay. So we know that this card is merciful. Okay. The question is here is when are we ditching this agile? Are we doing it on our turn? Or are we doing it on their turn? We can actually Wrecker Romp into them, discard the Beast Within, which draws. We can Tunic counter Claw. I don't hate it. I think we have to ditch it now, and then we can throw the Wrecker, discarding the Beast Within. We go here, at Prism, getting rid of the Beast Within, drawing a card, Tunic Claw, or if we rip a swing big or something like that, we can Tunic into it. That's not the best card in the world to draw in this situation. Yeah, real weird hand here. I'm not too crazy about R-swing this, so I think I'm going to pitch it anyway, which means we basically paid a life to save our Tunic counter. Probably not worth it, but, you know, what can you do? And we'll probably get rid of... I don't want them to have the ability to... Well, I would say probably get rid of Shimmers because we have armor, and then they're going to obviously try to throw an Angel. I don't think passing is that high of a priority without lag. Because, like you guys said, it's not going to have go again. So I think Shimmers is actually the higher priority here. I like leaving passing, me personally, in this situation. Damien, tell me if I'm right. Yeah, I hit Shimmers. Yep, 100%. That's what I thought. It just made sense. There is no world on this planet we block this. Y'all said we weren't clashing. No, I'm just kidding. We'll go ahead and clash with Clash, and we'll go ahead and get the value out of all of our stuff. No reason. I really like the play here where we can swing Claw, ditch the Agile, and then close with a swing big. Oh, does this not apply to that? Oh, it says illusionist attack. So because he swung the... So this has phantasm. I wasn't even paying attention, chat. But he has to do it that way because the angel's not gonna have go again. Man, that card sucks. Okay. Okay. My bad, chat. Do you clash on Phantasm? That's actually an interesting question. I've never played the Brute v Prism matchup. Mm, mm, mm. Well, they enabled chat. I don't know what they're trying to communicate here. Undo after information. Merciful doesn't change the play. I'm still getting pinged. What does that even mean? After information. What does armor block and merciful have to do with each other? No, they thought I was doing sus shit, basically. Air edition, sure. Not awaken them. So getting the agility token, I don't think actually changes anything. I think we still just stack. I guess the big thing is we get to hide information, right? Actually, no. What we get to do is we get to send the swing big. Whenever an aura or attack action you control is destroyed, deal 1 damage. If it's a non-token light card, put into your soul. Whenever a herald, so they don't interact in any way. We're just getting pinged. I don't think we give a shit about Merciful, to be honest. I don't think I care about clearing either one, if I'm being completely honest. This round's on me. I guess that's some Phi tech if I had to guess. Send 8. Some famous last words there. It's giving them soul. Yeah, for sure. Need to clear Merciful? So, Damien, you think the better play would have been to send Swing Big at face and then claw into Merciful, I'm guessing. Which would make sense. We'll just ditch that. What a hand. There's Triumph. At least they didn't send it out to stop my Phantasm. All reds, no blocks. It's a hand of kings. Those happen. Those happen, chat. Lots of value off Merciful. Yeah, I think I should have clawed into Merciful. I should have swing big for 9 into claw into Merciful. Definitely need more reps into this matchup specifically. Clearly. Okay. I think what I want to do is just set up a kill turn. I think I want to Assault and Battery face, discarding the swing big to get a Might and Agility, and then Arsenal the closer, I think, is what we wanted to do here. That's what I'm thinking. Even if it doesn't change the play. Yep, Damien, I think we are in a less than optimal. Partially my fault. We did draw the all red hand, which was unfortunate, but I think Merciful stayed around for too long. 100% on me. %100 on me. But I think if we can get a halfway decent hand, not have a resource problem, I think we can close it out next turn. How dare you take responsibility instead of blaming variance? Oh, I do my fair share of blaming variance, but yeah, This spot particularly, 100%. It's on me. This we can work with. This is a good one. We're taking it. Doesn't sound like the Briar player I know. What do you mean? Damien, I drew double Nimblism, double Autumn's Touch with a Nimblism in Arsenal. What did you want me to do? Other than blame variance. I think this is GG, right? I could be wrong. Where did his angel go, chat? Okay. No blocks. Why is it blowing up his angel? What's happening? He's swinging when merciful, and it's killing his angel. Is this a bug? Angel was an illusion? Report bug? That's so... Attack with passing. See if it changes. Was he selecting? No, it doesn't do arcane. That's so strange. I don't have a clue. Okay. Sure. That's weird. Okay, so we have double angel. Wow. Well, you have to have 6 block in your hand, or you lose 1 angel, and then I'm gonna claw, and you're gonna lose another angel, and then you're gonna take more to the dome. I don't even know what's happening right now, chat. How are you clawing with go again? I'm discarding the agile. Game plan was send pack hunt, pitch the yellow to claw, tunic, pack hunt, discard the agile during the claw. So what's happening here? You get intimidated. Okay, so you lose an angel. Okay. So then we claw. It's been a long game. I'm still catching up on sleep, chat. Let me tell you a little story about Connecticut. We got done and we drove like 6 hours from Connecticut, like 9 o'clock at night after we got done with Korean barbecue. Drove all the way to Baltimore, which is about 6 hours away. Vera drops me off at the airport at like 4 in the morning. My flight's at 5:45, so I like did not sleep that night at all. And so like literally just yeah. I'm still recovering from um hit them with their own mechanic. Oh man. Unfortunately, we don't get the intimidate here. Kind of unfortunate, but we're set up with counters for the next turn, and he has no more angels, so we're back in like a stabilized position, assuming we don't brick. It's like the number one thing. We do have to worry about a little bit of arcane danger here, so I'm just going to go ahead and give 2 pieces of armor. Kind of stay out of that threat. I know there's some Ravages stuff at the end for 2. Just trying to stay as far away from that as possible. So we're going to try and get us a blue card. Okay. Well, there's only one line open to us, so we are going to take said line. Claw for 6. I went from Phi, Roland Dromai, to Kasai fighting for her life. I don't know. yeah, we still have a decent turn, but it's just not as man, if we had a blue here. Save us an arsenal. Go ahead and get that intimidate. And 8 damage. Hopefully this is a card that blocks, and one of these is not a card that blocks. And that would be GG. That's the dream anyway, right? That's the dream, chat. Oh man, block with both cards or die. GG. Okay. dash. Okay. This is an interesting one. Definitely want to go first. I want to prevent the high roll in this situation. We definitely want these guys. 100%. I think we're definitely okay running cast bones. Don't need no fear. Clashing. I do. Messing with the arsenal is amazing in this matchup, and we can go ahead and I just worry about the slap dash. The slap dash, hoping's probably still fine. And it's pounder. Okay. This is a hand. So what we're going to do is play a Sultan Battery, ditching that card to start with double token, get 2 cards out of their deck. They're starting with pounder. We have the option to where we can entertain the idea of fatigue. The problem is we have 9 no blocks, so that's a very unlikely win con. Yeah, we for sure beaten chest here, 100%. No reason not to go ahead and get our cards going. And that was Savage Feast is really good. The problem is we have the cast bones in hand. We could try to 2-step it by pitching the cast bones, but more than likely we're just going to block with the cast bones. Is probably just the safer option, if I'm being frank. Sure. Hold on. That is a value, chat. That is value. But it costs 3. No. Do we hold it, chat? Do we hold it? I think we hold it, right? Don't we just claw after this? It's still a 3-card 10. I mean, it's not. It's just too. The problem is if we hold it. If we hold it, he gets 1 more counter off Tickle Pounder, which actively diminishes the value of the card, which means we're going to go ahead and play the Wild Ride, and we're just going to be gamers and discard whatever we draw. Or we'll claw after. That works too. I don't think we hold it because we're only going to get a Tickle Pounder with 1 counter on it, and I don't think it's all that serious. I think getting the damage here is... Yeah, see, like blowing that up would... Because it's a random card, right? Destroy a random item in the arena. Like, that's just not where we are trying to be. We can CNC for 7, which is kind of good, I heard. So let's go ahead and block with a CNC here. Actually, we're going to make things even more awkward. We're going to go and get Apex in there. Pulse Wave. Okay, so he can only take one of the others, so we're just going to throw one of the other. He's obviously going to take the swing big here, more than likely, if I had to guess. which is fine. No big deal. Thank God he couldn't take the blue. Sheesh. That would have been rough. Blow up the arsenal that's not there. Then what? Okay. I think this is a easy, just assault and battery, discarding, wind up, setting up the agility for the Savage Feast on the following turn. A little bit of a setup turn here, but I think that's okay. Not the most exciting. But next turn is going to be really, really good. Trying to fix some type of problem. Maybe not enough blues, maybe not enough cheap boost cards to kind of do what you're trying to do. Not entirely sure. Very likely this will turn into a flesh bag turn because it's going to need a lot of resources to really push the damage on the high octane. So we're going to try and rob him of that blue. T-Bone. We could get apex value here. The problem is, I don't know. I like getting apex value here, and then we can go ahead and... Because I want to force this interaction here where we discard it. So we're probably going to just block with one more. On whatever they try to do. Chat, feel free to help me out. What deck do you recommend I build for my little bro? He's brand new to the game, thinking Bravo. I would say like Phi or something like that. Just get the basics down of kind of like attacking, something like that, and then incorporate something. Mm-hmm. Cast bones will get deleted on the beast within. Oh no, it goes to the bottom. So we saved ourselves a life blocking with the pack call. Broken. Go and get this in, get the trigger on that. We have an agile. That's kind of good. What else we get off the Savage Feast? And a wild ride. Okay. So we can obviously play both out, which I think is just the play, right? Because if we discard the agile and claw, we're only getting agility value, not might value. So we might just need to go ahead and push both. Oh, shoot. Go ahead and send 6. Ruh-roh. 1. If we had another claw, I would love to tunic for another 3, right? Didn't we swing claw? Yeah, we already swung claw. I would love it if we had 2 hands. Sure, what you want to go get? Another red zipper hit, maybe? 0 to 60. How many times have you boosted? Twice. Oh, we might have a max V. That'd be kind of cool. That'd be kind of cool. I think we got a max V, chat. Okay, there it is. We also have Achilles here that we have to be mindful of. You could pop that and get more cards. It could be what the attempt is. But really what we're trying to do is just pitch the blue, discard the yellow on the pulping, and then tunic into claw. Something of that nature. And then that leaves this being an extra card. So we can just block 6 here. And that's good too. And if he has an item in hand, he loses. Nope. But we did shut down probably most of the turn and be able to close it with the pulping anyway. So this is definitely going to be 4-2-2. So we have to account for that. Which means we can show that. So if we know he's going to go 4, then we just block 3. Take 2. He pops Achilles, sends another 2. We block Sin Packing. Technically, I misplayed there. I should have given Tunic on the Pulse Wave so I don't die to a random discard on Beast Within. But if it happens, I called it. Okay, it didn't happen. But I should have given Tunic on that just to mitigate that from ever happening because there is 2 Beast Withins in the deck. GG. Well, chat, that was some pretty interesting games. We put Clash cards in against Kano and completely obliterated them. We absolutely struggled against Prism. And yeah, so I actually learned a lot by playing those games, 100%. Just some matchups I haven't played with KO. I've played the Kano one a little bit. I just thought no attacks. I win every clash and did not factor in the fact that they're not attacking. But we're not going to talk about that, chat. But once again, thanks everybody for joining me. If you have any questions about anything, throw it in chat now. I'm going to hang out for a couple more minutes. Would love to answer anything. Once again, we were playing Yuki's list. So I don't have like a deck list to share or anything like that. It's just hers. She put out a tweet that included it if you're interested in gathering that for yourself. But I think that that's definitely going to be the last match. This weekend, I don't think, RTN season is going to start next weekend. So for stream next week, what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically do like a primer on RTN season, kind of like how to analyze the meta on a local level, how to evaluate things, give ideas on, if you have a lot of Guardian in your area, do this. If you have a lot of Illusionists, do this kind of thing. So I'm going to try to give people the best advice I can for RTN. So if you don't know what to play for RTN season, come to the stream on Wednesday, ask me directly. Say, I got a lot of this in my area and a lot of this. I will give you the best possible, I'll give you the best possible advice that I possibly can. So a couple questions we got. Thoughts on Gambler Gloves? I hit that at the beginning, and my main use case for Gambler's Gloves is basically kind of like an anti-fatigue strategy. You equip it, then you go for like a double cast bones. You put one in arsenal, wait for the second, and then you're literally just rolling scabbies and like using Gambler Gloves as a way to like not just lose the game on the spot. And that way you can like get 2 action points and do like double cast bones. And usually that should be like enough to like kind of get there against like a fatigue situation. The problem is I think it's going to be like a scouting sideboard card. So you kind of like scout the tables, you realize a deck is on like a hard fatigue and you throw it in there. you can't really throw that strategy into like a random Bravo and they try to race you. You're going to really miss that armor value and the value from the might tokens on the arm slot. But that's something I'm currently playing around with. But yeah. How strong is green Phi feeling? I don't know what green Phi is. But Phi in general, I think is okay. To be honest, I think KO does better damage, blocks better, like has better equipment. Like I mean, I don't. You have sixes for Dromai. Like, well, I mean, Phi is not really an issue with Dromai, but you have a good hedge against Prism, whereas Phi can technically struggle into Lag Prism. But you know, oh, green Phi. Okay, KO. Yeah. That's exactly my point. Basically, is I think KO is just better than Phi in every aspect. So I don't understand why people would actually play regular Phi. But yeah. Yuki mentioned that KO's play pattern reminds her of Lexi. Any thoughts on that? I agree. Most things block for 3. You pick your spots. You have big turns. You play kind of mid-rangey if you're playing it at the highest level. 100% agree. Oh, do you think a warrior like Kasai can improve the Dromai matchup? I do not. I think if you, as a Kasai player, improve the Dromai matchup, you are going to forfeit everything else that is the reason you are playing Kasai. I think that you bring that deck and you come with the realization that you are going to lose that matchup. If you need proof, go look at the round 5 of the Battle Hardened that me and Josh commentated. And Evan could have easily ended that match at 40 life if he really wanted to prove a point. Donkel, long-time fan. Just want to ask. Donkel just puts in the wildest shit in the chat. But love him. Don't change Donkel. KO Hero Power is just Phoenix Flame. It really is, right? And not only that, but imagine if Phoenix Flame could like attach to a CNC and make it a breakpoint. Seems a little better to me, just saying. Yeah, so looks like I got everybody's question. Once again, thank you everybody for joining me. I really do appreciate it. Bring your RTN questions to next week's stream. And if I don't see everyone there, best of luck in your RTN season. Go support those LGSs in your local stores in the nearby vicinity of you. And, wish everybody the best of luck at their RTNs and get those invites. What do I do if I have Vero in my meta? Nothing, because it should be a very easy matchup for you. Vero loses to Hatchet Dory. It's just... That's so funny. 4 Odom on it too. No, but yeah, I wish everybody the best of luck in their RTNs if I don't see you on Wednesday. And please bring your questions if there's anything, even if it's sideboarding. I'm just going to dedicate Wednesday stream to helping people for RTN. Obviously, I'm not going to spend 30 minutes on one person, but like, if you have a question about a sideboarding decision or something like that, just bring that on Wednesday. I'd love to answer those questions. I'm just going to dedicate the stream on Wednesday to helping people prep for their RTN season. Thanks everybody for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Take care, everybody.